Hi viewers, welcome to Seshu Tech Talk channel. Here in my in my channel I will keep on uploading about technical videos and industrial machineries. Here today I am going to explain you about compressors. In industries we will use various type of compressors like screw compressors or reciprocating compressors in some centrifugal compressors. Today I will going to explain you about a screw compressor. Why we will use a compressor means there is a high volume of air which is gets compressed. After compression it gets high pressure. That high pressure air is useful for cylinder operations or some valves operations. Nowadays we are using in RO plants for aeration purpose. Today you can observe here there is a screw compressor. There is a screw compressor schematic diagram where what is the capacity of your compressor. We should speak in CFM or in meter cube per minute. In our industry we are using 8 kg. Our industrial applications was 5 kg to 12 kg pressure. Our maximum pressure was 12 kg. We are using about 5 to 8 kg pressure in our industry. Our compressor capacity was 5.41 meter cube per minute, and I have shown here it means 1 meter cube per minute means 35.314 CFM, and 5 point in our company we are using a 5.41 meter cube per minute. It means we are using about 190.41 CFM compressor, and it's about a 30 HP motor. In LG I have where I worked in compressors means E33 model I have seen means E33, and now we are using about G90 to G160 compressors. It was in Atlas Copco compressor. Means G90 means it was oil injected. G indicates oil injected, and 90 means it was 90 to 90 kilowatt or 160 kilowatt. You can say 90 160 indicates it was in kilowatts. Here you can observe this in this schematic diagram. I am going to explain you how the compressor will operate. The air, high volume of air gets in through this air filter. If you consider there is no air filter in when screw gets operated. This was a screw drive. Now I will explain you about just a schematic diagram. After that I will explain you what was the problems if it was not there, what we are going to face. High volume of air gets into this air filter, and the dust gets collected over the air filter, and this high volume air enters into the screw drive, where both there is a screw drives where both screws will rotate, and air gets compressed, and that compressed air will enter into this element separator. Enters into this element separator. When air is get compressed, the screw air is gets compressed, the heat will increase due to which screw may also damage. For that we need an oil which as a coolant or for lubrication purpose. Here we are using a lube oil which is used as a coolant, as a sealing purpose, as a lubricator also. And this air oil mixture means if screw should not damage, for that we required an oil. Through oil there is an oil pump over here, which oil is pumped from here to oil. Through oil filter it is pumped to screw drive, where oil and air gets mixed here, and through the air oil mixture passes through this check valve. Means only one way it should pass through check valve. It passes into the element separator. In element separator oil and air gets separated. Means highly compressed air and high pressured air will pass through this element separator, and this in element separator oil and air will separate. You consider when the separated oil will pass through this there is a thermostat bypass valve. Why this valve is used? Because when temperature is above 80 oil temperature is above 80 degrees temperature, then the oil will pass through this cooler, and again it recirculates through oil filter and again through to this screw drive. If below 80 degrees temperature oil is there, then oil directly passes through this oil filter. It won't go to this cooler. You consider when this oil recirculates like this, and the high pressure air will pass through this, high pressure and high temperature air will pass through this, and there is a one cooler over here where below this there was a fans, means there was a air cooled compressors. In air cooled compressors there is a fans over here where air gets cooled and passes outside. There is an NRV over here and passes through dryer and will use for industrial applications. Now I am going to explain you about why air filter is used, why screw drives are used, why element separator, how it will use. Air filter is used because without air filter in a screw, there is a screw drive over here which runs through when motor gets operated, the screw through gearbox drive, it will operate a screw drive. If there is only minute gap in between screws. If without this air compressor, without this air filter, the dirt particles will enter into this minute gap and screw gets damaged. That's why we are using this air filter. Why we are using oil on screws means only air will take inside and it will rotate, means air gets compressed. There is only high temperature will develop. Due to this screws will get damaged. That's why we are using an oil which used as a coolant or sealing purpose or lubricant. Why I have told like this means coolant. Why we are using oil means oil is used as a coolant and sealing and lubricator. Why I am speaking as a coolant means when this after cooling, this oil will passes through this screw drive. When air gets compressed, it will have high temperature. When oil passes through it, some heat is passed to this oil as a in convection principle, where we have learned in earlier. And as a sealing purpose, a very minute gap is there. When oil enters into that gap will covered, that's why I have spoken it as used as a sealing. And when it should not cover this screw drives, that's why it is oil is useful for lubrication purpose also. Again, there is an check valve over here. Why this check valve is used? Because when air passes through this, the air should not come and return. That's why we are using a check valve. After it was a single stage compressor, then we can use a multi-stage compressor, where sometimes some industries they will use a multi-stage compressor. Means after this there is a screw drive, there is another screw drive which is useful if we are, you consider in first screw drive we are getting about 8 kg pressure, means after second drive we can get about 4 kg plus, total we can get 12 kg pressure. Where in multi-stage compressors we will use 2 drives. After passing through this inlet valve, this was a check valve. After passing through check valve, it gets into element separator. The principle which element separator will work means, this is a element separator. You consider when oil and air mixture will passes through this, means it will create like circulation motion, and oil gets falling into bottom side, and air gets high volume air gets high pressure air will get outside. That's why we are using an element separator to separate oil and air over here. The oil is the separated oil again passes through oil filter and again passes through this screw drive. Whenever this element separator will get damage, means there is only high consumption of oil will take place. When element separator gets damaged, means high consumption, it will get the inside there is a like mesh type structure. The mesh will be like a pressed type. When it damages, high volume of oil will be consumed, and high energy also consumed when element separator won't work properly. This was a thermostat valve which operates if it will get open when about oil will get temperature above 80 degrees, means it will get open and passes through coolers. When 80 degrees not there, means it will be in closed position. The oil gets bypassed through this oil filter. This is the screw compressor. This was the screw compressor video. Technical information which I want to share with you. I will share you more information which I was known. Kindly subscribe my channel for more videos. Thank you, friends.